everybody, how we doing? Welcome to the roundup. It's a sombre occasion, Dak. A bit of a breaks to be had.
Yes, mate. Last one on it, mate. Last one for the foreseeable anyway, mate. And it's been an absolute pleasure, my man.
It has been indeed. But before we start and before we do a few thank yous to people who have helped us out, our sponsor for this episode is Stuart Ventilation. Stuart Ventilation Services are an independent stockist and distributor of heating, ventilation and air conditioning products based up in East Kilbride. So give them a shout. Guy Russell there's a top man. We'd like to thank them. They pulled us out a hole recently when we were a bit tight for cash, so we thank them. And
Definitely.
I know this seems dead sombre and people just want to hear about the football and that, but we've got a couple of thank yous. McTassos, G-Ross, who basically paid for us for the first year. Tass has been top drawer, unbelievable, man. The best scran about, so just get there. VSN, can't believe this clown's not wearing VSN gear in our last episode. But VSN, Drew, was amazing for us. Murphy and Young as well, they gave us a lot of help last year as well when we needed it. Big shout out to Erskine Arts and Craig Brownlee in particular, who, see, to be honest, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have started properly, to be honest. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
At the Green Room, Paul Shields, see if you're going to start a podcast or anything like that, go and see Paul. He's unbelievable. Prices are great, production's great. Paul Adams for starting us with our graphics. Paul really helped us out. And a big shout out to Jordan Rennie, who has been doing our graphics for the last wee while, but he's done more than that. He's actually been part of the team, and the boys, he's been brilliant for us, and he's been a good mate. I've spoke to Jordan at length about many things, and he's a great guy, and he does a great job at Darvel, so we appreciate everybody's help.
Mate, I think you've had it bang on, mate. About these people that would have been the podcast with our help and support and that, mate. So it is greatly appreciated and gutted, mate.
Mate, I know. But look, it was a good weekend. I know 2 went through, 2 went out, but this weekend showed the quality at our level in the Senior Scottish Cup. So we'll start off there. Drumchapel 1, FC Edinburgh 0, Montrose 2, Darvel 5, Wraith Rovers 3, Talbot 0, Ayr United 1, Pollok 0. Before you start, since we always start with your games, I watched about an hour 8 last night. I had to put the Wednesday to bed, so I missed a chunk of it. But I thought first half views were excellent. I thought they probably created the better chances, and Jordan made a couple of great saves, but I thought you were brilliant. First half you were, I mean, that's a team that are borderline, I don't know, 45, 50 positions ahead of you in the pyramid, and use more than matched them. And then the second half, I think that them being full-time showed a wee touch who's tired, but I honestly think that yourself, Maxie, the backroom staff, the boys can all be so proud of themselves, because I thought you were excellent last night.
Boys were outstanding, mate. Plain and simple, outstanding. Gave everything for the club, man. Put their bodies on the line. Showed bits of quality as well. I agree, mate. First off, I thought we were excellent. I thought we played some good stuff. We caused them a couple of issues as well. Just a couple of wee breaks in front of goal. That wee bit of luck might have fell something falling for us the right way. Could have maybe get a wee goal there, but Jordan's pulled off some great saves, but to be honest with you, man, we restricted them to a lot of stuff for distance, wasn't it? They didn't pure like cut us open with moves and get down the sides and open us up with pure flowing passing move. A lot of the stuff that they done was for range, and to be honest with you, Jordan dealt with it all brilliantly, especially in the first half. But even the second half, I wouldn't say he was overworked. I think we played well, defended really well. Midfield boys were brilliant. The shape was good. And we just, we weren't much of a threat, as much of a threat in the second half, but we had the odd wee chances, didn't we? Big Scotty Rumsby had a header, man. It was a good chance, but you can't ask for any more for the boys, mate. They were tremendous, know what I mean? They knocked up panning for the cause.
Ultimately, Jordan's there to make saves. You know what I mean? It's no, that's his job. I mean, you're not going to say, oh, Ayr United should have won, but Dale Esplin and Darren Christie were amazing in another part. That's how they didn't win. You're like, well, Jordan's there to do that job. No, I thought it was brilliant. The boys were excellent.
Crowd was amazing.
It was great crowd.
To see the backing that the boys got, that was, to see the Scottish Cup games, man. The crowd back the team brilliant every week, but the especially in these Scottish Cup ties, man, the boys have really responded to it, and the fans have gave them some backing, mate. So it always helps, man, because even at half time, the reception the boys got, they really appreciated the efforts the boys went through, mate, and the effort that they were putting in, and it was good to see, and the boys gave them everything, mate, and gave us everything. You can't ask for any more, mate.
How's it been going with Maxie? I know he only came in on Saturday for his first session. I think it was his first session Saturday, and then obviously last night.
It's very good, mate. Been very good, know what I mean? Very good. It's a lot of change, know what I mean? It's a lot of change. The new faces now. Just try to be helping them the new settle in, and that wee transition of being a familiar face about, and try to help them get to know the boys. But mate, I can't grumble, mate. It was good preparation on Saturday, and the boys were set up well yesterday and last night, and I thought that they done really well, and it was a really good display, mate.
Good. Drumchapel beating Edinburgh. Mental result. That's similar to Hughes and Ayr United in the distance apart, where it's like 40, 50 places separating two teams. Drumchapel are a good football side, so I imagine that people who don't know them, Edinburgh fans, would have been like, oh, they've taken us to a bog in Maryhill. They've just done that to make it a battle, to make it a leveller. But Drumchapel play on an Astro. They're a good football side, so that's probably something that would have stopped them from playing their normal game. And let's be honest, we both know what Lockburn's like in the winter. It is atrocious at times. But I'm so happy for them. That was an incredible result. And Hopi, well done, mate. And you and JB, and just amazing what you have done with that club. I appreciate you've got a bit of money to splash on players and that, but you have done a phenomenal job with that team, and that's a huge result, well deserved.
Frightening, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Delighted for them. You know what I mean? The Drum have always been good with us as a podcast and all, mate. You know what I mean? We Hopi, JB, and even like Kingy and all that in the background, and we a live night that we done, and it was brilliant to see from, brilliant for the community. I think even though they're in the fourth round, man, the draw's a tad bit disappointing.
Mate, I don't know. See if you could have picked somebody that Elgin should beat Drumchapel, right? They should beat them. But see if you could have picked somebody for the Drum, you'd have been like, Elgin, preferably at home. That's not a bad draw. They can beat Elgin. I don't know if they will, but beating Edinburgh, Edinburgh better side than Elgin.
I just wanted them to get one of the Premier League clubs in the same as Darvel, because I just always think it's a brilliant occasion for the West of Scotland, and it'll be a brilliant occasion for the clubs and the communities and stuff like that, whether it's home or away. But them being in there now, they'll go up there and they'll give a brilliant account of themselves. And listen, people, some of the ones in the West that know West football maybe back me win, but on the game on Saturday, even I totally agree with you, mate. They like to pop the ball about the Drum, and they're a good football side as well. But one thing about them as well, that they can roll their sleeves up and do the dirty work. And to be honest with you, I think the management team and the committee deserve a lot of credit, because they've took the game to Lockburn, and I think that, and they've used that as a home advantage. And credit where credit's due, man. It's paid off, and it looked as if there was a healthy crowd, and it was a great day for the club. And for them to keep a clean sheet, man, is brilliant as well, because Edinburgh have been doing really well.
Good sight.
So amazing for Hopi, JB, and all the backroom staff and the players. They deserve it. And Docherty getting the winner as well. Well done to him, and that's something that will live long in the memory. A lot of them, and I'm sure that they partied long into the night, mate. But well done to the Drum, man. Absolute fantastic. Their form in the Scottish Cup this year has been outstanding.
Only unlicensed team to reach this stage as well, so it's a great achievement. Montrose 2, Darvel 5. Obviously, there was massive rumours with Mick going to Pollok. Everybody thought it was going to happen. It didn't happen in the end. That result for me, that's testament to him, his backroom staff and his players, because there's been a lot of talk going on that could have took their mind off of this big game. But to go and take 5 off a team like Montrose, I honestly think that's a phenomenal result, and so well done to them.
Especially away from home. You know what I mean? To go to Montrose and to go to their patch as well, where a lot of teams would have West teams, you think you'd prefer the home draw, just to think that home advantage might tell. So for them to go up there and, as you say, score 5 goals and win it pretty convincing is is an unbelievable result for McNeese team. But at the end of the day, man, we've spoke for years on this show about the quality of players that they've got at Darvel. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of them have used to Scottish Cup and they've been in this environment. They've played senior environments, so they wouldn't have been daunted going up to Montrose. But what a result, mate! Unbelievable result, and quite rightly so. They've got an absolute bumper of a draw in the next round, mate. Aberdeen at home, mate. It's unreal for Darvel. We tune as Darvel, and everything. It just makes all the work. See all the hard work you put after parts, nights like that, and days like they had at Montrose that make it all the worthwhile, mate. And it doesn't matter when people talk about money and things like that, mate. That's why you do it, man. To be involved in things like that, mate, and it's tremendous for them. And listen, that's an absolute thumping result.
I mean, the thing is, it's so impressive, right? Aberdeen should beat Darvel. It shouldn't be a question. Darvel hopefully make it real difficult for them, and I'm not saying they will lose, but Aberdeen should beat them. They're one of the top teams in the country by quite a distance.
They'll do their homework, mate. They need to do their homework.
But see, the thing is, see how difficult they can make that. Granted, their park's excellent, right? So that Aberdeen will begin doing, and they'll be able to play their normal style of football because that's a really nice big park. But see, when you've got the fans right on top of you, giving you pelters and that, it may be getting their heads as well. And I watched Aberdeen against Rangers when Rangers took 4 off them, and they were obviously Rangers are a completely different level, but it's just they weren't great at all. They had a couple of players. I know it's all relative. It's all relative, but
it's difficult
amazing that day either.
You look at the teams in it, mate, and you're like, see for like Ayr and even Edinburgh and Montrose and stuff like that, they're all expected to beat the best teams. So you're not hiding to nothing. Do you know what I mean? If you win the game, everybody goes, well, you should have. But if you lose the game, then it's an absolute disaster to the fans and the committee. Well, that's the way it will be perceived. I think Aberdeen, if they go down there and they don't score early, mate, the nerves will creep in. It doesn't matter how these players are well-paid professional players and had really good careers, but see once that bit of pressure comes on, that was the big message that Maxie gave to the boys yesterday. It was like, frustrate Ayr as long as you can, and you could hear like the fans, Ayr fans, they only make much noise, and I think that's what Darvel will do, and they're good football players, mate. They'll have their fair share of moments in the game, mate, but brilliant for them, mate, and they deserve that glamour tie in the next round.
See what you're talking about with last night, maybe a wee bit different in Ayrshire because junior football and West of Scotland football has been so prominent in that area for so long. But see, Aberdeen fans, they're coming down and they might get on the team's back. See, if you're half an hour in and Aberdeen haven't scored, they don't know what this level's like. They expect Aberdeen to come down and take 6 or 7 off of Darvel. They will get antsy and they will put pressure on them. So I think you're completely spot on. The final game in the West of Scotland this weekend, Raith Rovers beating Talbot 3-0. Talbot went 62 minutes, held them at nothing each, and obviously Raith Rovers just had a bit too much quality. I doubt there's any shame in that result at all. I think the Talbot have started to bite back a wee bit after a lot of people have been giving them stick. They've not been doing as well as they have been. They're in a bit of a transition period now, but the last couple of weeks have been better. And see if you're going 62 minutes against a top championship side. I mean, Raith Rovers, granted it was the best part of 30 years ago, but they beat Bayern Munich and all that, you know what I mean? Or got a draw off Bayern Munich in the Olympic Stadium. That's the size of the club they're up against.
Mate, you fully expect these teams to dominate the game, especially into the latter part of the game, because they're all full-time football players, they're full-time and they're athletes and they look after themselves and all that. So it's absolutely no disgrace, you know what I mean? Even there in like Raith Rovers and that, their players are working and then going to a game, whereas they're just pure on game mode the full day and they can rest and they can recover, they can eat the right things and all that and stuff like that. So well looked after. So for Talbot, it's absolutely no disgrace whatsoever because Raith Rovers are a good side and it's a big club, and as you say, to hold them to 60 odd minutes, and they've probably done moments in the game as well, Talbot as well, and sometimes it's just that wee bit, the quality, that's the difference in it. They've got that wee bit extra bit of quality, and sometimes they get that wee bit extra bit of fitness and sharpness, and that's just playing full-time professional football, whereas our boys are part-time and sometimes it can run out of steam a wee bit. But absolutely no disgrace in that, and they've done the West proud too.
That's the thing, you know that you've hit any on the head. Your players have been working and stuff like that. Mate, they have some of the boys will have grabbed like a Tesco meal deal or something on the way to the game.
I
You
mean,
know,
they caught one of the McDonald's before the game.
I know what I mean. It's
But
not the same.
he was only into a push.
Ah, right, aye. Yeah, I'm sure he was.
But I was eating a McDonald's.
Ah, right. Let me find a Premier League table and we'll move on to that. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. There. Right. Premier League Friday night game. Cowan 0, Glenafton 1, Beath 4, Irvine Meadow 3, Cumnock 1, Arthurlie 0, Robroy 2, Troon 0, Largs 0, Cambuslang 1. Start on a Friday night game. Cowan and our team who have been. See, I'm actually looking at the league table. Cowan are sitting 14th in the league. I didn't even realise that.
Aye, but they've only played 7 or 8 games, if you know.
Games. Aye, but that's quite disappointing. They're a better side than that. But that was a big win for Glenafton.
Mate, they won 2 games, mate. They could be fucking top of the league near enough, probably.
I know, 3 points off it. Aye. That was a big result for Glenafton because I've been quite critical of their form of late. That's their first win in 6 or 7 games. But that one win takes them into 9th, gets them at the relegation zone. It was a really big win for them. Obviously, Gorms will be disappointed not to get something particularly at home. But for Ryan Stevenson and Marco and the team, that's a huge result and could potentially be something to kickstart their season now.
Aye. I think I seen somewhere they hadn't won for a league game since September or something. I don't know. I seen a wee stat somewhere. But that's a great result. Away from home, Friday night under the lights. Cowan's a tough place to go to get down there and keep a clean sheet. It's tremendous for Glenafton, and they've nicked it right at the end, didn't they? Mackenzie, I think it was, right in the last kick of the ball, and obviously it's the best time to score in it. You don't give the opposition a chance to try and get back into the game. But what a result for them. Obviously at points they've probably had to ride their luck, but listen, that's what happens in football. But they've got the win, and it's a massive 3 points, and it's a brilliant 3 points because being down to Cowan, man, and Gorms has got a good side down there. So for Ryan and his team to go there and get the 3 points up the road, move up a few places, brilliant result for them.
Yeah, it is indeed. Beath beating the Meda 4-3. Meda have been flying away. We've spoke quite a bit about it. That's a big one for Beath. They've had a really solid season. They're sitting joint third now, only 2 points off the top of the table. Strain will be really happy with that. George will be quite disappointed, and also a speedy recovery to George as well.
I was going to say that, mate. I seen that he's done his hip or something.
It's no good getting old, George, is it? So hopefully it's
that golf he was playing, man.
I know. I wonder if that'll hinder him now. But that's a big one for Beath, and it sounded like an absolute cracker of a game.
Aye, cracker, mate. And as you say, man, training that's got the team doing well. They're up near the top of the league, and they've picked up some good results, and that is a good result, especially when it comes to league form. Irvine Meadow are probably the informed team. I've no one of them.
In a row before that.
Aye, in the league when it comes to league form. But they'll be wanting to hold it a wee bit because I know they've lost a couple of cup games the weeks before that, and then they've lost that game, so they'll want to get a wee win under their belt again just to kickstart them again. But George missed the game when they played Pollok, man, and the boys responded brilliant under the coaching staff that were there, and I've got no worries that they'll be doing that again. Do you know what I mean? They'll be doing it for their gaffer and that, and hopefully bouncing back. But great result for Beaven. They're doing really well, and Meadow they'll just need to look to the next one, try and kick on again.
That's it. Cumnock beating Arthurlie 1-0. Arthurlie, another one like the Meadow, 4 in the bounce in the league have been, Palmer said them doing really well. But Cumnock only slowing down. They're only 2 points behind Darvel, played the same amount of games, 2 games in hand on Hurlford, who are ahead of them, with a point behind them. And they've not exactly the best of runs recently, but that was a big win for them against a tough opposition who are banging form.
Cumnock, good side, mate. Good side. Can't say it, you've got them very well organised, mate. And they're a good side and they've got that threat up front as well. But they're solid defensively, so they've always got a chance. Not meaning they've always got a chance when you can nick a goal as well. So no, they're gone really well. They're a tough side. They work hard. They're fit. Not mean work hard for their gaffer and that as well. So no, you need to be on it to beat Cumnock. That's a good result for them because Arthurlie have got some firepower there and they've got some good players. So you keep a clean sheet against them. But Arthurlie's form has been decent of late. Not I mean, so they'll be hoping to bounce back quickly after that. But it sounds a tight affair and probably what I expected because to beat either of these sides, it's going to be a tight game because they're two good sides.
Yep. Rob Roy, first game without Maxi, started perfectly. 2-0 win against Troon. We talk a lot. I know Troon are quite low down in the league now, but they're a difficult side to beat. They're one of the teams that you're no surprised if they go and beat Darvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got a bit of quality about them, or if they go and beat a Talbot or whatever. So that's a really good way for Rob Roy to respond. Who was taking the team at the weekend?
I think it was Jamie Kelly, and I think it was the goalie coach, and I think somebody else. I can't pure remember, mate, but it's a great result.
Yep.
Great result. 2-0, keeping a clean sheet, especially when it's a tough week for the club as a whole. You know what I mean? They've lost a manager that's been there for a long time. Do you know what I mean? For a lot of the people there, then it was just the norm. Maxie and Rob Roy was like what the norm was. Do you know what I mean? He's been there for a long time. He's got relationships with committee and fans and players and stuff like that. So for Rob Roy to concentrate on the football business, oh,
Oh, you're
got
back. You're right.
for them to concentrate in the football business, mate, and to win that game, it's a brilliant result, mate, and it just shows you that the players are very much on board, mate. So top result for Rob Roy. And take the hats off to the players because they've put the distractions away and they've concentrated in the football and done the business, mate.
Aye. Another one, really good result for Canvas Lang beating Largs. We speak at length that Largs don't win enough games, but they don't lose a lot of games either. But funnily enough, if Largs had won, they'd have been sitting 3 points off a top of the table. Now they're sitting 3 points off a relegation. That's how
Yeah,
tight this league is. I mean, you're talking about. I mentioned Canvas co-winning. I was a wee bit shocked at how low down they are because they're in the relegation zone. But like you said, see if they win their 2 games in hand, they're sitting in fourth for fifth place. You know what I mean? It's just mental. Clydebank sitting in 12th. You know what I mean? But they win their game in hands, they go into fifth place. The league's absolutely insane this season.
the league's mad. It really is mad. On Canvas Line, great result for them. Lags are a tough side, organised again under Arnie, and they've shown their qualities throughout the season. So for Canvas Line to get results, very good. I think it was Canvas Line, man. They're a tough game for any team. Do you know what I mean? I think I see them. They've been getting better as the season goes on. They're looking more and more capable of picking up results, and I don't think that they're an easy game for anybody. And their confidence is going to be high. You know what I mean? We play them on Saturday. Down there, it's going to be a right difficult game. The boys will have them right up for it. Do you know what I mean? But aye, they're going to pick up results. That's a great confidence boost, and they put a couple of wins together this season. Any team, man, you push right up the league. You know what I mean? You're not a million miles away. Everybody's a big pack in it.
Well, that's 7 points out of the last 9 they've picked up, and they'd only picked up 3 in the first 7, so that they're hitting a wee
Yeah,
bit of form, and it's put them in a position where they're only 2 points away from at this time safety.
listen,
Um,
mate, they're organised. They've got a good management team. They're organised and they've got good players there. Canvas
I
lines,
know.
you know what I mean. We've seen it last season, mate. And they've still got the majority of the players there, and they've added quality as well. So they'll be tough nut for any team.
Right, moving on to First Division. Benburb 5, Whitlets 1, Gartcairn 0, St Cadoc's 2, Edinburgh 5, Glencairn 0, Kilburnley 7, Rossdale 2, Neilson 2, Thornywood 1, The Rock 4, Cumbernauld 2, top of the table clash. St Cadoc's won at 2-0, move into top spot. That's all right, it's still really early in the way that league is. Actually, anybody can beat anybody, so it's far too early to predict. But see if Gartcairn win that. I mean, that's them on 23, 5 points clear. St Cadoc's, no, they're 2 points behind, a point behind them, sorry. That was a huge win for St Cadoc's. And
Yeah.
Doyle's got them kind of firing on all cylinders now. That's four wins in the bounce on the league for them. That was a huge win for them.
Aye, they're flying, mate. They're flying. They're flying. They're doing really well. Doyley's getting a tune at them. I think he's getting a couple of players back for injury. It always helps. And their form has been very, very good. And for them to go top spot, it's good for. It's just good for everybody. Do you know what I mean? You take the confidence for that, and it's always nice to look at the league and you see that you're top of the tree. But they know that it's a long way to go. But one thing they're for sure, they're their own form. They've got good players. They've got a good team. Management team's doing really well. Good management team, and they're getting more and more confident every week. Do you know what I mean? They've got boys there that are used to winning, and they've signed a few for Peters Hill and other clubs in that. So aye, they've got winners in that dressing room, and psychologically it's big for them. Go top of the league, and that's a great win because Gartcairn have shown they're a quality side this year.
You're looking at, see what the Rock beating Cumbernauld 4-2. I mean, Cumbernauld will only be 2 points off top of the table if they'd won. The Rock have, I know they've won the last two now, but they lost two before that. They were starting to dip, bounce right back. That's a huge result for them. I mean, that's the thing. The Rock are sitting 2 points off the top of the table when 2-3 weeks ago you're like, is that them had their wee run? That's them starting to drop out it. Right back in it, all the way down to Blantyre in 8th, Cumbernauld in 9th, even the Ben's in 10th, Drumchapel in 11th. I'm just keep getting down. Anybody can win this.
Aye, mate.
That's a really good result for the Rock.
Aye, Brian Henderson a hat trick, mate. I think they've went down to 10 men and all the Rock. Brilliant result because Cumbernauld, I think the week before went down to Kilburnie and got a great result. Won the game down there, so wasn't it going to be an easy game? But great result. And the thing is, man, Davy and that are adding good players, as the season goes on. So they're only going to get stronger. So sign wee Ben Daly and Ross McDonald for Peasy and that, and also they're adding quality as they go along to onto a team that's already doing well. So it's bouncing down to Candy now. It's the feel good factor down there, and they're going to keep kicking on. They've got a big Scottish Cup tie at Dundee at the weekend, mate, and hopefully they can go up and do the business for the West teams.
I know, fingers crossed. Kilburnie beating Rossvale 7-2. Rossvale having not a very good season at all. Kilburnie keeping themselves in touching distance, only a point off. Granted, St Cadoc's and Gartcairn are have got 2 games in hand. I think that it might be a wee bit much for Kilburnie to win the league, but for a team to go up, I think that they're going to be right there all the way through. But it's a very convincing win. It's probably something that they needed after having a couple of results and they went for them losing the last 2 games.
Great way to bounce back after a defeat the week before, go and score 7 goals. Tell you what, but Rossvale results, the last couple of results have been good. They won
They won
the game in the league, and then they beat Johnstonborough, I think, quite convincingly in a cup. Do you know what I mean? And we know how good Johnstonborough are. So I think Kevin and that are starting to get quality there. So for Kilburnie to win the game 7-2 is an impressive result. I expected them to win the game, but I didn't maybe expect it to be quite as convincing as that. So that's all credit goes to Tommy and his side for the turning it on going forward. They must have been on fire. Do you know what I mean? But great result for Kilburnie, and they just keep themselves in there, and they have been. And as you say, we expect them to be up there on about all season. But Rossvale, by the way, they'll be picking points up the next few weeks, mate.
I think it is they've got they've got a good young management team there that hopefully can help them. And even if we spoke about it, even if they go down, it's no they should get time because of what they've had to go through.
I think they'll get time.
They've had to go through a lot, and if they go down, it is what it is. The Ben's beating Whitlets 5-1. Whitlets are having an absolutely shocking time right now. It's been really hard for Popey and that. It's difficult for them. But the Bens, we say that they had that terrible start. but did well in the Scottish. And then we said that when they get put out of the Scottish, this could maybe be the time that they start to kick on. They've won 4 at the last 5, got themselves in a position where they're only 5 points off a top of the table, but they've got like 2 games in hand on teams like Kilburnie, a game in hand on the Rock. They win them, they're right in there. They're only a couple of points within touching distance. I think that's been an important one for them, and I think it's just probably taking them a bit longer than they wanted to, but they're finally starting to find their feet.
Aye, they've got good side and good players, know what I mean? Good young players as well. They bring them up for the 20s at Ben's, know what I mean? And they work with the players that are within the club as well, which is always good to see. But aye, it's a great result. And I feel for a bit like Sanoa because Pope and that are good guys, you know what I mean? So hopefully they can turn the corner soon. But aye, it's a great result for them, very convincing. They've got some good firepower, good forward players at the Bens, and they've obviously been on the money on Saturday.
Yep. The Borough, after a couple of poor weeks, I know they won last week, but they went 4 games without a win before that. That was a big result for them against Glencairn. Glencairn just only getting themselves started. I
Impressive,
expected
isn't it?
it's a great result, but I expected a lot better for Glencairn as well there. Premier League side for last year, for the last 10, 15 years, they've been a very competitive, good side. And I think they're struggling a wee bit this year. And I don't know what's going on because I don't know anybody at
The
Glencairn.
leagues are that tough, mate. The
No,
leagues
I
are that
know, but
tough.
it's a really they've only won 2 games out of 10. I mean, for a
They've
team of
got good players, that they've got some good.
aye,
They've
for a
got
team
some
of
really
their
good
quality, that's
players.
not what you expect.
To, listen, man, you don't know the ins and outs of everything what's happening or how games are going. But one thing's for sure, that's a top result for Johnston Borough. Not I mean, I didn't expect them to win it convincingly like that, and take my hat off to them. Do you know what I mean? But they've got good young firepower. Jamie's got down there, and they've obviously clicked. They've obviously clicked on Saturday, but aye, it'll be a slow one for the Glens, so it will.
Aye. Final game, Nielsen 2, Thornywood 1. I think Thornywood went 1 up. Nielsen managed to pull it back and get a win. That was a really important win for Nielsen because they've not been having the best time after a really solid start. I bumped into Darren Jones on Saturday morning because his wee Ian goes to the same nursery as Lewis, and there was like some Christmas party nonsense. So I was talking to him, and he was like, he couldn't quite put his finger on it because they're a good side. So that was a good win for him because we've spoken a lot about Thornywood. I know they're kind of down the bottom end of the table, but they're a difficult team to beat, and they score a lot of goals.
It's a good one, mate. Very good one for Nielsen because Forneywood are on an easy game for anybody. And they'll just want to get a win under their belt. Forneywood with Benizzi and that and Dolsey. They seem to just be losing tight affairs. It's 2-1s or 3-2s, and that'll flip soon. Do you know what I mean? Because they're a good management team. But for Nielsen and Chris and that, it's a very good result because Forneywood are a good side. They'll make it difficult for anybody. So Nielsen, Nielsen definitely needed that, mate. It's a really good result for them.
Aye, definitely. Right, we'll move on to the second division. Perthshire 0, 4th 1, Kilsyth 2, Greenock 2, Muirkirk 3, Renfrew 3. And I apologise if I'm wrong for this one because I forgot it was a Monday night game. Glasgow Uni 2, Wishaw 4. Would I be right with that?
Yes.
Aye, we'll go with that. We'll start off with Renfrew Muirkirk. Really impressive result for me for Muirkirk. They've been very up and down so far this season after I predicted them to do well. So I just think they like being shite just to wind me up and then do well when I say they're going to do poorly. But that's an impressive result. Taking 3 off Renfrew as well is not something that a lot of teams in that league will do.
Yeah.
Renfrew hitting a wee tiny dip, I suppose you could call it that, after the incredible start they had. So well done to Muirkirk on that.
Yeah. They're not losing many games, are they? Really, Renfrew, but not what
No,
I
no,
mean.
they've just kind of they've won 1 out of the last 3, which for the form they were in is poor for them, considering how
Uh,
incredibly well they started.
well, I think that just shows what Muirkirk are capable of on their day. Do you know what I mean? Pushing any team in the league. Kev's big thing, and you no need me to tell them, is that they just need to make it more consistent. Do you know what I mean? So, sounds a right good game, and well done to Muirkirk getting a really good point. And Renfrew again, they've not lost the game and they still hold top spot. So still been a tremendous season for them so far. But aye, it sounds a cracker, and it shows you that Muirkirk, as I said, can go and compete with the best teams in the league.
Aye, definitely. I've just realised I missed a game. Um,
Ashfield,
I've missed 2 games in. Let me check.
no, Ashfield was off. In fact, Glasgow
Um,
United was off.
Yoker and Maryhill, 4-2 to Maryhill.
Ah, you,
4-2 to
Mary Hill
Maryhill.
won 4-2, mate. Great result for them
So we'll
because
go on to that one. Aye,
that's probably the last game Mary Hill will play this season because
after our parts destroyed.
they'll play every home game will be off now because of that Drumchapel game. But brilliant for Martin. That's 2 good wins in the bounce. They beat Ashfield in the cup the week before, and then they've beat Yoker. So I think that Mark's starting to get his team clicking, and confidence will be high there. 2 good wins against 2 good sides, and they'll be looking forward to the next one. And that was always that. I always thought that Mark was picking up really good results in the league, and he would have done it to transfer that. Picking up good results in the cup. Sorry, would want to transfer that into the league, and that's a big 3 points for them. And I think they'll kick on for there. I think that was messaging him, and he was saying that boys are starting the penny's starting to drop with him, and they're not giving away his daft goals and that. So fair play to him. He's worked hard at it, and they deserve everything that they get, mate. And that was well done to Maryhill. Top result.
I think for Maryhill, it was almost unfortunate this weekend that Wishaw, who were a point clear of them, got a win.
Yeah,
That Muirkirk got a point at Renfrew when you wouldn't have expected them to. So that's teams about them have kind of managed to get points, but they've pulled Yoker in with them as well. So it was a really good result.
yeah.
For me, I think it's a result that will get overlooked and nobody will think a great deal about it. But I think that Greenock drawn 2-each with Scythe is a really good result for them away from home. We spoke about it with Carlo taking there and they're starting to steady the ship. That's a good side, Scythe. They've no lost any of the last 4. Granted, they've drawn 3, but they've no lost any of the last 4. They're going to be very difficult to beat again. For me, Greenock have been in a really poor spell, and getting that point could be an important one for them.
Chuff for Nixon and Derek that because I know that they felt that they've probably been playing well enough. They should have been getting points, and they've been unfortunate not to be picking things up in the last few weeks. So for them to actually get a point and probably get something that they deserve is really good to see for them. So well done to Greenock, but totally agree with Kilsyth. I think Kilsyth will continually get better and under Carlo, and you can see that there's definitely a marked improvement there since he's been at the club.
Yeah. Finishes off on the second division, 4th beating Perthshire 1-0. That's another cracking result. 4th won 4 out of the last 5. Perthshire had won 4 out of the 5 before that, and we'd spoken a lot about how well Perthshire were doing.
Yeah,
that was a big result for 4th, because Perthshire would have went into second place for that, and instead 4th have went into second place. It's a really, really important result for them in terms of trying to get the promotion.
aye, brilliant result, mate. Absolute brilliant result. Down to the Shire,
Yep. Right.
to win, to go down the Shire and win, mate, you need to play well and keep a clean sheet as well. It's a brilliant result for 4th, know what I mean? So hats off to them, do you know what I mean? It's not an easy place to go, and well done. Top result. Second place, do you say aye?
That's them into second place. Ashfield,
Oh,
granted, have 3 games in hand and are only 2 points behind.
Martin, you'd rather be in the
The points on
position than
board.
have the games, aye. So
But you're looking at that. You're looking at that top 7 for me. Renfrew are doing what they're doing. Ashfield won their game in hand on Renfrew, 2 points off top of the table. The Ants are sitting 6 points off the top of the table. Perthshire are 6 points off the top of the table. Craigmark are 7 points off with 2 games in hand. Mabel 8 points off with 2 games in hand. Any of the top 7 can win that. Can
tight,
really
mate.
go and win that. It's
Every
really,
conference,
really tight.
every conference tight, mate.
Right, we'll move on to Division 3. Ardrossan 1, Fanart 0, Carluke 1, Larkhall 4, Lanark 2, Saltcoats 1, Newmains 1, Bells Hill 0, Port Glasgow 3, Lugar 2, Vela Clyde 5, Lesmahago 1, Vela Leven 4, Royal Albert 1. Vela Clyde taking 5 off Lesmahago. That's an impressive result.
Aye.
They're a good side, Lesmahago. I mean, they kind of go in peaks and troughs, But Villa Clyde are just flying in it.
Villa Clyde are having a very good season, mate, and they're showing a lot of quality. They beat Arvin Maida in the cup as well, last week or the week before, which shows what they're all about. It's two teams in the Premier that they've beat, and their league form has been brilliant. So the boys are doing superb there. The management team are doing great work. The players are doing the business in the park. That's a really emphatic one again. And aye, they're going to take a bit of stomping. I think Villa Clyde, they're motoring on really, really well, and they're well up. They're well up for the challenge. But it looks it, mate. They don't look like slowing down, and I take my hat off to them. Their form has been absolutely brilliant of late.
It's been excellent. I accidentally gave a wrong result there. It's Kaluk 1, Irvine Vicks 4. A Larkhall game was off below it, and I just wrote on the wrong team. But even on that, Irvine Vicks, they are 5 points off Ardross at the top of the table with 3 games in hand. They've drawn 3 of the last 6. But they've hardly lost a game, mate. They've lost 1 game, and I think that was first game of the season. So they're
Aye,
12 on the bounce, undefeated.
aye,
That's impressive.
they're flying. Dougie's doing great work there. They're scoring goals for fun, mate. They seem
Yep.
to be have really good firepower. Kev Adams, I think, has he broke the record yet?
Broke the record, so well done to Kev. That was quite impressive. Quite impressive for the Saltcoats media team being able to actually know every goal he scored and who it was against. I seen
Aye.
the graphic on that, it was quite interesting. But well done to Kev.
So
That's a massive
what is it?
achievement.
Is that a club's all-time top goal
I,
scorer?
I can't remember exactly. I want to say 107 goals he's got for them. I might be wrong,
Shoot.
but something like that.
Brilliant. 100 goals, mate, for a club, and you get a lot back to a club for that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's doesn't come easy. You need to graft. You need to be a great servant to the club. So, aye, many congrats to him, mate. And here's seen how many he'll get between now and the end of the season because he's in a good. He's scoring goals. You're still seeing his name popping up, and he's still doing the business for them, and they're still scoring goals. So he's gonna keep adding to that tally. But well done to the Vicks on their recent form, and well done to Kevin as well, man. It's he's in the history books. You know what I mean, and you love to see that, and he'll be a legend in his own right down there.
Aye, definitely. Ardrossan, we're talking about teams who score a lot of goals. Ardrossan have got 54 goals in 16 games, but Fernat managed to keep them to just the 1. But it's 5 wins out of 6 for them. We spoke about it, how, particularly myself, where I was quite disappointed with the start they had with good management team, a lot of good players, like kind of top class players in there for this level, and they've really turned it on. I mean, there's the teams about them have got games in hand, and they could slip into, if everybody wins a game in hand, they could slip into 4th or 5th.
Yeah,
But
you can't.
they'll be within
Go
touch
on.
distance, and they keep getting. It's like you said,
Aye,
they've got the points on board.
yeah, you can't win every game. You
Aye,
can't win every game 5 or 6. You can't always be on it. You always can't be firing on all cylinders. So to win leagues and be successful, you need to grind their games out, and it's a tough game for them against Fanart. And they've grinded out a 1-0, and that's what it's all about, mate. They're just as important to any 3 points as it's no matter if you win 6-0 or 1-0. 3 points is 3 points at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And they're scoring goals for fun, but that one's a biggie. They've kept it tight at the back, clean sheet, and then they've managed to get the 1 goal enough to win it, and been resolute, and been able to see it through in the game management as well. So well done to them. It just shows that they can do the other side of it as well.
I mentioned to New Mains beating Bellshill 1-0, and I'm going to tie Saltcoats into this. Obviously, not a soft spot for Saltcoats. Lanark beat them 2-1, but by all accounts, they gave a right good account of themselves. These teams are starting to pick up points, and they're showing that they're a bit better than people think they are, and they've got a bit more about them. Really impressive 1-0 win for New Mains, and that takes them up to 8 points. But it kind of shows that it might be too much for them to keep themselves out of relegation. But it shows that
Yeah,
there's quality in there, and there's a bit of fight in there as well, not to go down with it, swinging a couple of
yeah.
punches.
I'm always like to see New Means picking up points because we're probably the last 5, 6, 7 year. It's been difficult for them, but Davy's absolute. Davy and his backroom staff and the committee down there are noting their panning and improvement down there. That club's after park as well has been unbelievable. So I always like to see Davy picking up points because he's a good guy as well. So well done to New Mains.
Yep. My beloved Port Glasgow ending a 3-game losing streak with a 3-2 win over Lugar. It's a result they needed. It's no been great this season. I went down and watched the second half when they played Yoker and they lost the game. But I was actually quite impressed. They're better than their league position shows to me, just based off of that half that I watched. First I've seen them this season. Tried to play a lot of football. They've got young players in there with a good mix of experience with Tucker in goals, Craigie McCormick, Jamie up top and stuff like that. They've got a good bit of experience with young players. And I think it will come good for them because they've got a good management team as well. So I was pleased to see them win 3-2 and what probably a tight, tough game for them, but looked like quite an entertaining game for the people watching.
Good result. Good result. And they've came out and tapped. And I think we've made it known on the show how we feel about Stevie and that, and he's a good gaffer and that. And I think we spoke about him getting time, and and I think they'll continually improve, and they'll try to play a good brand of football, mate, and fans will acknowledge that down there. Do you know what I mean? They'll acknowledge that the team are playing and working hard for their manager. And sometimes that's all you can ask for. You can't win every game, but if you can see an identity there with the team, and you can see the boys getting it their all, and they're trying to play good football, and it's nice to watch, then the fans will give you that wee bit of time as well because they see what you're trying to do.
Aye. Final game in Division 3. Villa leaving 4, Royal Albert 1. Royal Albert, it's just a really, really tough season for them. Only won 2 out of 13, but Villa leaving, a team I predicted to be in the bottom 3. They've only won 1 at the last 6, but they've only lost 2. So they're picking up points and kind of keeping themselves going.
Yeah.
And they've definitely improved for the start of the season. And it's good to see them getting some points on board.
Aye, very good result. Good people down there, good part and all that as well. And that's one that they would have been looking at and going, we need to win this game. You feel for Royal Albert, you always do, you know what I mean? Because very hard for them. It's probably a struggle, man, financially and that every year to keep the club going, and we don't like to see that. And hopefully there's better times around the corner for them.
Aye. Moving on to Division 4. Campbelltown 2, 3, 4, Glenvale 0, West Park 2, Kilsyth 3, St Peters 1, Rossvale Academy 1, Harmony Road 4, The Thorn 1, Eglinton 3. Top of the table clash. Kilsyth beating St Peters 3-1. Well done to Bailey and his team. 12 out of 12. Absolutely incredible. I actually thought St Peters would have possibly been able to get something to them. I know that they're a bit light on the ground for bodies. They went 1-0 up, but that shows the quality of Kilsyth. They've been relentless this season. Only team in the country left who have still got a 100% record. See, we say it all the time, and I suppose I want to see a bit again because this could be the final roundup. But the job Bailey's doing is sensational. I think that a man as young as him being able to do that with a group of young boys, that's what they are. They're a very young side. I mean, they were a 21s team who've stepped up, and it's a harder league this year than it was last year. And I think that they've beaten everybody. And I think they deserve all the plaudits that they're getting because it's an incredible season for them.
Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. Getting an empty on a Friday with a team sheet there.
Just chugging away at it.
No, honestly, on a serious note, mate, I think you're absolutely on the money with it, mate. It's no easy to be a manager, mate, and certainly when you're young as well. Do you know what I mean? There's boys in that team that are older than the manager. Do you know what I mean? So to command that respect and have them doing the business every week, can't give him enough credit, mate. He's him and his team have done absolutely fantastic, and I totally agree. The league's a lot better. They're flying at the top. It no lost a game, beat everybody, beat some right good sides, and absolutely fantastic performance for them so far.
Yep. West Park beating Glenvale 2-0. For me, run of the mill result. They after losing to Kilsyth, they've been able to go back on their winning ways, 6 wins in the bounds. They're really keeping the pressure on Kilsyth at the moment. And it's just a routine win. It's been horrible for Glenville this season. Only picked up 1 win out of 9. Out of 10. But it's one of the ones. It is what it is. Glenville maybe not being able to bring in certain bodies or whatever, but it was a good result for West Park to keep themselves within 6 points in a game in hand.
Probably, as you said, mate, routine, mate, fully expected. And they get 3 points, mate, dust themselves down, going to the next one, six in the trot, mate. They want to continue that up because they need to, because Kilsyth don't look like letting up, man. So these other teams can't afford to drop points because it just means it's going to give Kilsyth even more a cushion.
Yep. Threave, another team who, after losing a few games, lost 3 out of previous 4 against all the teams about them. Back to winning ways, beating Campbelltown 4-2, 4-0 at half time, I think. So Campbelltown have obviously had a wee revival second half, gave a good account of themselves. Threave are now in a position where I don't think that Threave and St Peters are going to win the league. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's between the 4 of them for that top 3 spot. And personally, obviously, I hope it'll be St Peters. But Threave will put a lot of pressure on them, and I think that St Peters being so young might just be too much for them and being so thin on the ground. But that's a good one for Threave to make sure that they're keeping pressure on teams above them.
Yeah, totally, mate. And still think they'll have a big say on what happens this season.
Kilsyth, Harmony Row 4-1 against Rochdale Academy. That's a big win for them because obviously we've kind of well publicised the issues that the club are having. It's an absolute shambles what's been going on behind the scenes with such a great club out this way. But a big win for them, beating Rossvale 4-1, and I think it's good that Keith and that, who are working tirelessly, it's good for them to get a wee reward like that in the players as well.
100%. Their perseverance, and they train next to us one of the nights, I know, Monday night, and how upbeat and all that he always is, and that for Keith. So it's rubbing off on the players, and I'm delighted that they've won games and they're looking a lot better, a lot more competitive in that, because he deserves it, because he is working these players hard and trying to get the best out of them, and it's really good to see, mate.
Mate, this result I'm going to read out is the final one, right? And this will be a question of sport question, so we'll down the road somewhere. What was the last result that PG and DAC did on the roundup? And for me, a bit of a shock result. The Thorn, who bummed up quite a lot recently, who have been picking up points and put themselves in a position where they were looking like top 3 spot could be very doable, and it still is, to be fair. They're not that far back. Eglinton beating them 3-1. Massive result for Eglinton. That's 2 wins in the bounds. Off the back of that horrible doing, they took half a Clydebank, so it's really good bit of character for the boys. And a lot of players could have chucked that after something like that, and that they gave up a ghost. But them to go and win back to back after that is quite impressive, and it's well done to them.
That's what it shows, mate. Character, and we've spoken about Eglinton on this show, about how they always persevere with their way of playing, and they stick with it, and they're upbeat and they're positive, mate. And that's rubbed onto the players, and it shows a lot about that group as well, because that's a brilliant result for them, and I'm chuffed for them, because they have had to take a couple of bumps along the road. And listen, they're never going to. You can never compare them with a Clydebank now. Do you know what I mean? And all right, it wasn't a nice one that they took, but in general, mate, that just shows brilliant the work that they're doing behind the scenes. The management team are obviously working the boys really well and getting their ideas in place, and the boys are starting to buy into it. And it's really good to see, man. I'm chuffed that obviously Thorn have been flying and they'll be disappointed, but I think you got to give credit where credit's due. Eglinton are the management team, for me, deserves massive amount of credit. Obviously, the players are out there doing the business and the way they bounce back, but that is pure character, mate. And see, if you get character in the dressing room, you get results, mate. Because you've got boys that will pull together and they'll work, but they've shown that they've got quality and a way of playing, and they'll stick with it. And they'll take bumps along the road, but they'll have days like Saturday where it comes good and it clicks and and that's why they do it, and that's the reward that they get for sticking to their methods, mate.
That's it. Well, that's us. Hopefully this isn't the end. We need to see how things go. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with myself now that I actually might have some time to do stuff.
I know, mate.
It's going to be
I
weird,
know.
mate. Like I said to you before we came on, my face is scalping because I was at the gym. Been going to the gym, mate. I've not been in the gym in years. But I want to say on behalf of both of us, and I know you'll say it as well, I cannot thank everybody enough who has listened to us over the last 2 years. Hopefully it isn't the end, and it's just an extended break. But the fact that the response we've had for clubs and people watching the show and fans of teams, it's honestly humbling at times. And I know this is just a wee podcast and that about the West of Scotland football, but it's been a lot to us. And when people come up to you and speak to you in the street and all that, you're out shopping with your wains and people come up and speak to you, it genuinely means a lot that they take the time to listen. So I want to thank everybody that's listened to us and watched our stuff for the last 2 years.
100%, mate. It's been an absolute journey, mate. Everybody's been amazing. Feedback's always been good. The engagement, man, with people, as you say, man. Me and you love going to these West of Scotland runs and speaking to people and meeting the people behind the scenes and stuff like that. And it's sad, mate, and it's sad because it's something that we've done for the last couple of years now, and we really believe in the level and the grade, and we hope everybody keeps going out and supporting our local club and get behind your teams. And you'll see us two about anyway, the West. Hopefully PG stays involved and myself. But as you say, mate, hopefully this isn't for ever. Hopefully we can fire in a wee special here or there to keep our eye in and maybe we look at it sometime in the future, mate. But again, mate, I want to thank you, mate, because
I was just about to say.
you've had to fucking put up with me for near enough 2 years now, mate, in my nonsense and my daftness, and I think you've been different class, mate. I think you're good at it, and I'm gutted that you're having to stop, mate, because you're very good at it. You're maybe not as entertaining as me, mate,
That
but you're
must
very
be that must be
you,
fucking killing you.
but we need that, mate. We need PG. We need PG and Dak show, mate. I needed you, mate. I need you as much as we need each other, mate. What a team, mate. We can go out with our heads held high. Live nights, football content awards, vlogs, behind the scenes training, trips down memory lane, mate.
Over 100 episodes we've done.
Over 100 episodes for over 5,500 followers, mate. I've loved every minute of it, mate. Mate, I'll be honest with you, I apologise to everybody. I'm flat as a pancake here. And it's based because this is hard today because I'm gutted. I love this and I love doing it. But unfortunately, there's more to life, man. And we've got families and we've got work commitments and stuff like that. And all we can do is apologise because we've had some nice messages to you guys and we do really appreciate it. I do love everybody out there and thanks everybody for any engagement, any episodes you've watched, and we hope like we've gave you something back, you know what I mean?
No, thank you, mate. You gave me some of the best laughs I've had in a long time in the last couple of years. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, thank you to everybody, and hopefully not for the last time. Have a good week.
Take care.